that gang, the Fashionable Five, we all came to London. We all got jobs down here and we all moved together. I don't think I would have come down here. I don't think Jim, in fact, maybe would have come here unless the gang had come. One of the members was in the civil service and he got us all jobs. We all moved together and lived in a flat in Brixton. We had various bands then. It's a continuation of the Fashionable Five, but in London.
Dig! I think it's a very telling sign that his real name is Roderick.
Is it?
Yeah, Roderick. If you go up north with him, everyone calls him Rod. Which I thought he'd love with his odd obsession with
When have you been up north?
Never have been, but I've sent spies. But everyone up there calls him Rod, and yet you'd think with his love of Rod Stewart he'd quite like that. Down here, Jim, stroke Vic, whatever. Man of many names, but few consistent personality traits.
So what did your mum used to say?
Rod, get out of the bushes.
He did the odd spot at this club called the Parrot Cafe, which is in Goldsmith's Tavern in New Cross. And he was doing what was like a stand-up routine, but it was different each week. He wasn't using the same name, and Vic Reeves was just one of the names that he chose one week, and he wasn't going to continue with it. I think people persuaded him to keep it.
So I was only going to be called Vic Reeves for one night, and it was quite swiftly made up without any particular thought.
Jim Bell, that was a loud American. He used to come out with that at parties. I'd walk into the room and announce, "Hi, I'm Jim Bell."
Who actually is Vic Reeves?
I'm Vic Reeves, and this is my grand talent night.
We always called him Robert, never Bob.
Riot, riot, we're going to riot. Riot, 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 we're going to riot. Riot, riot, riot on my own.
Paul's main interest was in housing and welfare benefits. And he knew his law. He'd got 2 law degrees. And he was interested in people, I think.
What was he like in the office?
Scatty. Bit disorganised.
If you let me do it, I'll get it started. You just let me do it. Look.
Vic's performances in the pubs and clubs of South London were quickly gaining a following. High spirits and a great sense of occasion were being transformed into a tumultuous comedy. Bob came to see Vic perform, although he wasn't expecting much.
What's the matter with that?
Huh?
You've
not gonna
made
get
it
a
not
card in, are
work.
you?
You've made it not work.
I bumped into someone from Middlesbrough I hadn't seen, who said he was going to this. Oh, I haven't seen you for a while. Would you like a drink? Oh, I'm going to this Vic Reeves thing. So, you know, I didn't know. I had no expectations whatsoever. I mean, I would have presumed he was just going to be a stand-up political comedian, really.
And there was smoke, and this thing appeared on a chariot in a suit. And at the time, most comedians just stood in front of a microphone and shambled around in a horrible old Arsenal T-shirt or a political T-shirt, still under the influence of Ben Elton. And then for about 3 hours, he just proceeded to behave like an absolute maniac.
Well, I am the master of grand talent. I am Britain's top light entertainer and singer and comedian.
I'd never seen anything like it. And I walked backstage and said, I work for the NME, I want to do an interview with you. And I knew he was destined for greatness because he had a chequebook with Vic Reeves written on it. And he was already paying the staff 50 quid each, the people he'd humiliated.
You were going, you must come and see these blokes.
Did like proper comedy fan. Oh, they did Man with a Stick came on, a bloke had a stick.
And I was going, well, what are they like then? He goes, well, you know, one of them got like a carpet square and flattened some brie on it. And I'm thinking, yeah. Instead of going, nah, I was thinking, yes, sounds brilliant.
I couldn't believe that someone could have come up with all that, the courage to do a show like that, which was so far removed from anything I'd ever seen. Because I'd never seen anyone try and do a whole kind of mad take on a variety show, which we'd never seen a variety show anyway, really, had we? And to take over a whole evening of a club, as opposed to most people were scratching around trying to find 10 minutes of material to do. And here was a bloke going out and he was actually booking friends and creating characters and stuff that has never been seen on TV, or at least I don't think so, like the Toff and all that mad stuff, all the stuff with Les, the competitions he did competitions on stage and odd things. He had handbags with bells on. He had a fish tank with a couple of cabbages in that he'd leave on stage for half an hour when he went off. And then he'd sometimes talk through the cabbages via microphone, claiming they were communicating to the audience. I mean, stuff that actually no one was really finding that amusing but him.
On my hair, I like to use a bit of blubber. I always go for well blubber because it really does give me hair that crisp show business feel that I like to use to present myself in front of the British public. And in my capacity as Britain's top line entertainer, I must go for blubber every time.
So hello.
Hello. Now, Bob,
Yes.
you've recently opened Crab World.
That's right, yes.
What are you hoping?
I want to celebrate everything about the crab, its lifestyle.
Its carapace,
It's hard shell.
And it's little tiny hairs.
Why is it that you've opened Crab World here? 'Cause I can't see any.
No, well that's the beauty of the crab. It's a very involving centre. You have to actually go out and find the crabs.
And this is so you invite people to climb up there and look down at the crabs.
If they wish to, I don't force any particular regime on them, you know.
Vic was so full of himself that sometimes his performances had the revealing and concealing power of art. But then, as Marcel Duchamp or Tommy Trinder once said, art is nonsense.
I think it was. It was very much that. It certainly was the first day that I did it.
It's too funny though, Puck. I only interrupt and I do apologise, Jim, in that sense, but as someone who went first as a spectator, it's easy to say that and forget and lose sight of the fact that it was the funniest 2 hours I've seen. You can go beyond that, but no, it was very, very, very funny.
He would say things like, the big night out is what Gilbert and George are doing.
I know what you're trying to say about it, the artiness in it.
Well, the fact you went on for 3.5 hours, you know.
Yeah. It was an endurance test.
30 years career, wasn't it?
No, Joseph Boyce stayed in a cage with a coyote for like 3 weeks, you know. So.
Exactly. I mean, I often look at Jim and think, it's Joseph Boyce. You go to a Joseph Boyce exhibition, it just consists of carpet felt.
Well, exactly. So there is a link.
Well, I don't know.
You can no conferring with the correct pen. Yes. And your pen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask Ken and his group this question. Can you tell me the middle name of slender, happy-go-lucky pop singer Simon Le Bon?
I remember seeing him, he was on the Tube as well.
The middle name of Simon Le Bon, Jules, is in fact Le.
I remember him quite vividly then, this bloke in a quiff hovering, and with a lot of presence and self. Yeah, it's me. Not a self, he had a lot of self. Still got plenty of self.
These are my woods.
Yeah, what do you like about them?
I've always loved woods. There's a nice dead feeling about them.
Dead?
I like the dead sound and the fact that they're indoors and outdoors at the same time.
Was Jim a bit of a snob?
Oh, tell us about it. I say, here comes Lord Snooty. I do, here he comes with his top hat.
There goes a cockney layabout. me and you came up with some ideas for the next week. But that was the first time I met you.
Before Bob arrived, it was like a weekly party for a gang of people in New Cross. And then Bob arrived and he worked so well with Jim that it became a proper act. And you knew from the start, Bob was really good at making Jim work.
What shall we do to make it a success?
What shall we do to make it a joy?
He would not always be in at the time that he ought to have been in, usually because he'd had a heavy night the night before.
It is very odd that Vic was doing it for a fair while. I mean, I think that's part of Bob's love, is that Bob was, just going about his daily routine and not particularly happy with his life. And then I think it was a Road to Damascus thing with him that he found Vic. And he was like, wow, I want to do this.
Do you remember Bob turned up? And we thought, oh God, here's his gay boyfriend. This is really, and it's obviously because Bob said, oh, you're not happy, are you? You weren't happy tonight, were you? Yeah, no, not really. He thought, oh, maybe we should leave. There's something going on here that we're not party to.
Make a foil and a battering ram. Make a foil and a battering ram. Make a foil and a battering ram.
As I later discovered, I think a lot of the time when he was up at his desk on the phone, I think he was actually on the phone to Vic writing sketches.
Because when we first met, we just started writing stuff together then. And it was probably a better laugh, so that's why it continued.
And we do find exactly the same things funny, is the truth of it, isn't it?
Yeah.